Well, hello and welcome to the Pastor Study. I'm glad that you could stop in and join us for today. I don't know if you've ever had a well that was the big round well where you had to draw things out from. When I grew up at first, before we had a dug well, before we had a drilled well that was, probably about 150 feet deep, we called them cisterns, but they were things that gathered in rainwater, and we'd go out and we'd hand pump to get the water out. But there were some times when the hand pump didn't work, and you had to put on your bucket a rope so you could lower the bucket into the water, pull that back up, and draw out that water and take it in and use it in the house. Well, Solomon here tells us in verse 5 of chapter 20, he says, that the plans of a man's heart are like deep water. But he said, it's the one who has understanding that can draw it out. Drawing out those plans from way down deep in your heart. Understanding what God is doing. It's that individual who has gained understanding from God that can draw those plans out. And he says that a man, he can claim to be loyal. There's a lot of people who claim to be loyal. There's a lot of people that claim that they will be faithful. But he says, where do you really find a loyal or faithful individual? There are not so many of them. And that's sad. That's sad that we are not amongst them. It's sad that we are in danger of not being loyal, not being faithful. God has talked about our own lives and the sin in our lives and how we are not faithful to Him. We need to be loyal. We need to be faithful. He goes on and tells us that a righteous individual walks in his integrity. His sons, they can follow after one who has integrity. I think about in my life, my brother worked in a factory for a while when he was in high school and a little bit after high school. And when I went looking for a job and I walked into that office and I asked about a job and I told him who my brother was, because of his integrity and because of the way he handled himself there, I was hired on the spot because they assumed that just as my brother was, I would be. And I'd like to say it followed the integrity of our father. Now, they didn't know my father, but we got our integrity from him. And I look at my sons. I have two of them. And the integrity I see in their life, I think it has come from my father, through me, to them. So how we live gets passed along. Until next time in the Pastor Study, goodbye, and may God bless.